Hi, this is KAWS. You're in my studio in Brooklyn, New York. You know, when I was younger, I was aware of the parade and I watched it, and it sort of seemed like, almost like the parade was more important than the holiday. The Macy's Balloon Projects, I guess they approached me 2 years ago. It was just a cold email. You know, they contacted a gallery I was working with at the time, and it just started like a simple conversation. It was really sort of candid. I was familiar with it, you know, I knew when Takashi did it and Jeff, and immediately I knew what they were talking about. So for me, it's just similar to making a sculpture or a toy. It's just a balloon in one of the most visible parades. I did a project at Harbor City called Passing Through, and then it was a 5-meter tall sculpture, and we later traveled it to Connecticut, to the Aldrich, and to the Standard, and I just sort of liked the sort of emotional quality of that sculpture. And you know, when I started to think about the parade, I just thought about all these different proud balloons and sort of like the normal history of the, you know, you see like these sort of dynamic characters, and I wanted to just create something that really wasn't that. I feel like maybe a cartoon that's born within, you know, the past decade or two could have a kind of different expression. The first sculpture I made for a companion was in 1999. You know, first he was skinny, and then 5 years later I made another toy where he grew up and gained a little weight. And when I opened my shop in Tokyo, I did this sort of dissected companion, and he sort of takes a lot of different forms. And I just assumed like, oh, the scale is going to change, but I didn't really take into account the sort of life it takes on when it sort of moves, and when the people are like walking with it, and when it stops, and the hands kind of like have this like constant motion. The way I grew up, the art I sort of came into was through magazines and through, you know, graphics on whether it's skateboards or t-shirts or stickers, and that meant a lot to me at that age, and it sort of got me thinking and got me interested in finding out more about the bigger world of, you know, things that are made. The work in the studio right now is for a show that opens on November 3rd in Paris. It's with Emmanuel Perrotin. It'll be my 4th exhibition with him. When I make new paintings, they sort of carry over from the last series I was doing, and in 2008 I started taking these sort of vintage cartoons from the 30s and 40s, and like barrel explosions and things, and just taking pieces of them and interlayering them. Usually mixing them with more of my images, but slowly that sort of work has gone out, and it's just gotten more and more abstract. Although it looks very simple and flat, you know, this pink could be 12 layers or 10 layers. It might have seemed more different years ago, but now no matter what you do, wherever you do it in the world, it's sort of like the whole world sees it, whether it's on, you know, the internet or Instagram or however. And I feel like the audience can follow. When I'm making work, I'm just making work, because it's not like, oh, this is going to be on the street, this is going to be in a gallery. I just see things as good and bad, and sort of focusing on what I'm trying to sort of get out there.